Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you've worked in the mobile games industry, you know that people are willing to go to war with you regarding your views on video ads. The fear is that while video ads will bring revenue to your online business, it could cannibalize existing revenue, specifically in-app purchases. But there's nothing to worry about because I'm going to show you an analysis today that's behind me, which will help you figure out when to offer your customers video ads. So behind me you can see this is a install cohort, and it shows a percentage of those installs that become a monetizer by days since install. As you can see, 80% of installs in this demo business make their first purchase within the first 60 days after installing. What that means is you can safely introduce video ads to non-monetizers once they're 60 or more days from their install date. So let me show you how to do this now in MySQL. Okay, so here's our generic installs table. The first thing we want to do is just select the very first install instance per customer ID. So we're going to take a min on this install date. And just group it by the customer ID. Let me show you this worked. Great. And we can call this subselect installs. Let's bring in the customer ID and then the install date. And to do this analysis, to make the query run faster, all we need to do is select one install cohort. So the date of this recording is October 11th, 2024. So what we can do is just select customers that have installed in the month of September 2023, so that they have a full 12 months of leading data, or 365 days, that we can look at. So all we need to do is add that filtering logic in the where clause based on this field right here, this install date. So we're going to change the date format on these install dates to be the first of the month. And we want that to be equal to September 1st, 2023. So I'll show you how to get there. So the current date is, again, October 11th, 2024. So let's take that and reset it to the first of the month, so October 1st, 2024. So we will use the same date format function. And then all we need to do is just go back 13 months. So we will do a date add, but instead of adding months, we'll be subtracting months. We'll do the interval minus 13. And there we go. As you can see by looking at our results, all of these customers installed sometime in September of 2023. Great. And let me give you a view of this query so you can see exactly what's going on. And we can turn all of this into another subselect and call it customers. Now the next thing we need to do is bring across all dates that are greater than or equal to each customer's install date. And we have a specific or special table that will help us accomplish that. So from the install date, we want all leading dates up through the present so that we can see when or if a customer became a monetizer. So let's do a left join over to our date table. We can call it dates. We'll do it on the dates.date has to be greater than or equal to the install date. And again, this join is going to expand the size of our data set. So right now we have an install date per customer that was in September of 2023. After we run this join, it's going to bring across all leading dates up through the present for each customer and their respective install date, thus expanding the size of the table. Let's look at one player example. And then we can order by this date. So as you can see in this one customer example, they installed on September 25th, 2023, and of course the first date that we brought across was the install date. And that is due to this part of the join right here, where the date has to be greater than or equal to the install date. So the date that we brought across starts at the install date and goes forward and brings across all of these leading dates up through the present date. And what we're going to do now is check to see if this customer became a monetizer, and if they did, when. So how many days since install did they become a monetizer, if they did? So for that, we're going to need to go to our revenue table. So we have a table called fact player revenue. And this holds all of our customer revenue transactions. And then what we're interested in is each customer's first purchase date. So we will do customer ID. And we will do a min on this to get the first purchase date. We will call this larger subselect players. And we will bring across all of these columns. We'll just rename this prefix to players. And then we will do a left join over to this smaller revenue subselect. And we can call it revenue. And again, this is every customer's very first purchase date. And here's what we can do. Go to join on, it's a left join on the customer ID. And the revenue dot first purchase date must be less than or equal to the players dot date field. And then we can say case when the first purchase date is not null, then 1, else 0 end. And we can just call this the monetizer flag. So for each customer and install date, we have all of these leading dates beginning from their install date and going up through the present. And what we're doing through this join is we're joining on customer ID and we're saying, hey, is the first purchase date less than or equal to this date? Great, that means they're a monetizer. Let's pull a couple of records to make sure this query runs. It does, okay, great. To help explain this a little better, let me bring the first purchase date field from table 2 over to our query result. And let's see if we can examine one customer. Okay. And then let's order by that same date field. Okay, fantastic. So this customer installed September 9th, 2023. And recall that our date starts at September 9, 2023, the install date, and then goes forward into the future through the present date. So So they install, they haven't monetized yet, they haven't monetized yet, they haven't monetized yet, then boom. On March 13th, 2024, about 6 months later, they make their very first purchase. And you can see that first purchase date value being March 13th, 2024. So there you go. Now that we've seen that that works, let's go ahead and start aggregating this information. We're going to call all of this ag. So we put all of that into a very large subslash. You can just call it ag because we're going to aggregate this. And the first thing we want to do is this data is aggregated by days since install. So let's calculate that. It's going to be a date diff between the ag.date and the ag.install date. Days since install. And then all we want is just a count of customers or installs by days since install. And then we just want a summation of those, or the percentage of that install cohort by days since install that have become monetizers. So all we simply need to do is just take this monetizer flag and then just sum this. And then after that, we just need to grab this days since install and put it in the group by. And we are done. Here is our entire query. I'm going to make sure to put this in the MySQL practice file so that you can view it yourself, because it is quite a lot. So let's run it now. Okay, great. So here is our data. Let's go ahead and work through this a little more in Excel. Let's first convert the numeric values in our days since install column to a string. So that we can get our chart to work. We can call this percent install cohort monetized. So since these customers installed in September of 2023, and today's date is October 11, 2024, they have a full 12 months of leading data that we can look at. Let me increase the font on some of this so that we can see this a little better. Okay, so I love an analysis like this because what we did is we took a historical install cohort and we looked at the leading 12 months from their install date to see the percentage of this install cohort that monetized by days since install. This is really important because it shows that of the install cohort that decided to monetize within your mobile game or online business, decided to do it within the first 60 days of their installation date. About 80% of them made their first purchase within 60 days of their installation date. This can be used strategically because with this information, you know that if someone hasn't monetized and they're more than 60 days from their install date, they're likely not going to purchase. So because of that, you can safely offer them video ads and open up a new revenue stream without cannibalizing an existing one. If you found this tutorial helpful, please continue to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.